Alright, to the people getting in chat, I have no idea how the stream is, if it's going to be choppy or what, so please let me know what it looks like, if it's the frame rate's too low or something, just so I can address that before I get started. I tried getting OBS working on my powerful PC, but it would not work. It would only work with either one camera at a time. I couldn't have it would run my main camera at a crisp 1080p at 60 frames a second, but once I added my microscope camera, it wouldn't see it at all, or it would only see one at a time, or only be able to display one at a time. So I gave up and went back to my normal work computer that has a quad-core Ivy Bridge i5 and a lousy graphics card. So I'm working on it. I want to start doing better content soon. I want to you know, just start improving this channel. Let's see what the frame rate is. Audio is good, not seeing much. Oh, I'm just taking it. Let me I'm fixing things for you. I'll shut off the scope cam for now. AmScope off. There you go. I'm going to start with this PS4, and for HDMI issue it's already been half taken apart, so it doesn't really matter. But your videos are good. Thank you very much. Yeah, basically in chat just let me know if there's an issue. Try and get this thing apart as quick as I can to get it done. Have to get done 2 PS4s tonight, and I'd like to start on a MacBook or two. I'm fairly busy, fairly swamped right now. It's off. These aren't too bad, these PS4s. You can't complain about disassembling them. They're so easy once you get the hang of it. The first one I took like all day on. It's like, man, how does this thing go together? How do I take it apart? It was back and forth between watching videos and going on the iFixit guide. But then after you do one or two, it's just like, you could just crank them out. They're so easy and quick. Hi, Martin. Still have to have that race on who can do a HDMI port faster on a PS4 or whatever this thing is. I do ports way differently than anyone else, though. Probably this is the slower way. Why? There we go. Power supply. One cool trick on the power supply that I do is you don't want to pull it out just if you yank on it. So where's the camera? So if you see how there is, there's two ends. If you just pull on one end, you risk bending the pins right here. So what I do is get my tweezers, and if you see, there's a little gap right here that you can pop up the power supply off of those pins just like that. It'll come up a little bit, right? And then what you can do is easily remove it. just like that. And there's just a plug down here that should come right up, just like that. Easy as can be. Here's your optical drive cable. This comes right out. PS4 Slim, yes, and the new one, the 1215 model, is a pain. Just had one of those in. It was a miserable issue. Fixed though. I haven't really done much audio equipment repair. I'm going to be doing this for as long as I can. Then I'm going to do biomed repair most likely. Or what I'm going to do here soon is probably start doing biomed repair and then still do this and then wait till biomed repair is so busy that I can't keep up with this, then quit this and do biomed repair. I mean, as far as certain boards for biomed, especially like MRI head and body coils, you're going to be making $3 grand to repair, and the boards I'm used to working on with MacBooks and stuff have around 3,000 components. These probably have 300. So I don't know, why aren't you coming up? I'll take this shield off. And then again, I'll see how it goes. I'm not going to a college for it. I'm just hoping to jump into it, kind of, just like I did with this. I mean, I don't want to work on stuff that can. I don't want to work on life critical stuff, but like head and body coils for MRI, it's just the quality of the image. It's not really going to kill you if I mess it up. Hopefully. Another thing that I love about these is Sony decided only to use a couple different types of screws, which makes it so much easier. Not like Apple, where there's different lengths of screw. You put one screw that's slightly longer than the other, then you ruin the board and stuff like that. This is much easier. There is like 3 types of screws, and they're very easily distinguishable and memorizable about where they go. But what my goal is here soon, my area right now, Lancaster Palmdale area, there's a fair amount of computer shops. There's some cell phone shops, but there is no full computer repair with board repair, no cell phone repair with micro soldering and stuff like that. So what I want to do, I want to get a store out here doing it all. Computer repair, board repair, especially on MacBook side of things. Windows, maybe basic stuff, but MacBook side of things. And then what I want to do is there's a Apple store not far from here in Valencia, California, in the Westfield Mall. I want to make enough money out here to open a store across from Apple, just like Lewis was talking about. It's probably not going to be until I'm 25, not for a good while, so but I do want to eventually do that. Depends if I'm still doing this. The only reason why, well, it depends on how biomed repair goes and all that, but I'm probably going to be doing this for a while, so. So let's have a look at this port. Always a nuisance once you have it back together and realize that you left the one under the PSU out. The cable, yeah, I haven't done that yet. What I did do this morning though is I had one for the encoder. It had so much flux on the board that I was going to ultrasonic it. I desoldered the coin cell battery. I said, you know what, I'm just going to clean it with toothbrush and alcohol. I put it back together and I realized I left the coin cell battery. I left the coin cell battery out, and I realized that last night at 1:30 in the morning. So, alright. So, microscope. Let's have a look at this port. Yep. Alright. So we know now this port needs to be replaced. You can see it very clearly. So we will remove this connector and replace it with a new one. Let's get my fume extractor on because this is going to put out a lot of nasty stuff when the plastic melts. And of course, because I'm streaming, the smoke detector will go off. Alright, hopefully that noise isn't too loud. I moved the mic a little bit, but it's going to probably be pretty loud. Alright, so we're going to get our quick 861 DW hot air station set to 430 degrees with the biggest nozzle it has. I'm going to get my tweezers. And we are going to take off this connector. Come on. And this one's tough. There we go. This one's out. Alright, so this is what I do different from a lot of other people with these. So what I'm going to do here, a lot of people, what they do is they put flux down and then they drop the port, they use bottom heat to drop the port in, but what I do different is I get, I'm going to get some Chip Quick low melt alloy right here. This stuff has a 58 degrees Celsius melting temperature. We're going to turn our iron all the way up to 840 degrees. Put it in here just like that. We'll get a little flux. Get some flux in there. We don't want to put, we're just getting prepped right here. So, just want to get some in there. And then we are going to do the same thing on the other side. Then we're going to get our hot air, heat this up so the solder melts and sort of combines. Just got to get a little bit in there because if you try wicking this out, look at this. So this is my iron at 840 degrees. This is a Hakko FX951. It's not a knockoff, it's a real one. If I put my iron here, it will not melt the solder. It will not melt it. So we have to lower the temperature that this melts at to be able to wick that out. I've tried filling it with leaded solder. Leaded solder will not do it. Even tried a lower melting leaded solder paste, that will not do it either. You need to use this low melt stuff. So what we're going to do is get our hot air, back off the zoom just a fraction. It's actually at its lowest zoom right now. Maximum zoom is going to look like this. That's maximum zoom right there. It's this camera is lousy. I need to get a new one, but yeah, that's down all the way. So what I'm going to do now is heat this up. What I want is to heat it up so the solder combines, the low melt with the leaded stuff combines to lower the temperature of the stuff in there. That way I can successfully wick it out. Should be good enough. Now what we have to do is get some more flux in here. Get my iron. Kind of put it in here and hold it for a minute. We're going to apply some pressure. We just want to kind of force it into the solder a little bit. And what this is going to allow is it's going to kind of draw the alloy in there, and you're going to see it's going to suck it in a minute. Come on. Kind of a different way of doing them, but this is the way I like doing them, and I don't have any issues with it. Sometimes you'll get this right here where you kind of push away at that. That's okay. I've done enough of them. It's not going to hurt it. This one seems stubborn though. That for some reason it just doesn't want to. Usually it sucks the chip quick stuff right in. This one doesn't seem. Alright, see that? See how it kind of drew it into the. Of course, that was the one you couldn't see, but it drew the low melt in there. We're going to do the same thing on both these. We may have to do it a few times. See, this one came out really nicely. Just have to kind of just work the iron in there, just like this. And then we're going to have to wick some of that out. So that's okay, just ground plane. So now we can do, hopefully that got in there far enough. So now we're going to get our solder wick, and we are going to wick some of this out. And then we may have to put a little more in there. Where's my wire cutters? Scissors, this will work. Check chat real quick. Nothing new. That's going to allow us to see that, how it got all the way through, and make sure. Yeah, see that got all the way through. We're going to have to put a little more and clean it up on the other side, which is alright. A lot of solder on this one. Make sure that the chip cook stuff is dried before you pick it up. Probably not going to hurt you, but it's probably better to wait until that stuff's not liquid before you touch it. It's like on the wick, when you trim the wick, just be careful. Look at that. See that? All the way through. Move over here to this one. This one's probably going to give us a little more problems than the rest of them. But I could be wrong. No, we'll have to go through on the other side on this one. For sure. Let's see. Yep. I knew it with that one. Let's see. That one we'll have to put a little more. You can see right, kind of see my mat through it. Let's see how it's kind of on the other side is. Let's go through. On this side, have a look. Alright, see, this is just really minor right here. It's just where we push the solder out. This one, of course, this one needs some more of this low melt stuff so we can get some flux. So I know this takes more time than dropping the port in, but hi Lisa. So a lot of people just drop the port in, but I just don't like doing that. It's probably harder to do it this way, but it's more consistent to do it this way. You know, when you drop the port in, you know, you can get some issues, and sometimes they don't align properly, when this just seems like it's the more consistent way to do it. Where like when you drop the port in, you might get, you know, one or two where you have to get a new port because it's not aligned properly. When this, you know, you're guaranteed to get it each time. And this one is really annoying near the shield, so one should be good to go. This one is fine. And this one over here, I don't think this one will be a problem either. Just use our wick, should just suck that stuff right out. Yeah, that will not be a problem. Yeah, that's true. After a few hundred of them, yeah, I'm sure they are consistent with me. That I haven't done that many of them, this seems more consistent. Depends on the port quality too. Like the first few ports I've had from somewhere else were just really lousy, but these ports from Lewis work so well. They're always aligned, and they're just good ports. But I only do these per request. I mean, I don't advertise PS4 repair. So if the local shop has one, they want me to fix it, I'll fix it. But I focus on component level MacBook board repair. I want to lower that. It's at 840. I want that to be much lower. But I don't want to solder and rip these pads. Hi, Tech. Yep, PS4. We have 2 to do tonight, and then hopefully some MacBooks if I'm not tired out. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be exhausted, but we'll see. Alright, so see, now this is lined up. Let me see if I can get this to focus, but I don't think I will. Alright, perfect. So now what we're going to do is move in a little bit. Just zoom. I just got to make sure that the solder, that it actually solders the pin. So the iron's at 640. We're going to do this, and you'll see it, how it kind of sucks the solder up onto the pin. You'll see less on the pad. This is only the first one. We're going to do another run and add some more solder. Just like that, easy. I will come back around and put a little more solder on them because I don't trust this under the heat, and it's just a preference. I like to have more solder on things, especially pins, than you really need. This J-tip is wonderful for this stuff. I mean, see the difference in how the pin looks? That's how you tell if it's soldered or not. This one is soldered, right? And this one is not. So we're gonna just like a couple seconds. See that? Perfect. I wouldn't personally drag solder these because the thermal mass of the board is just asking for trouble. It's asking for bridges, is what it is. Alright. So now we're going to go back over here and we're just going to put a little more solder on these pins. Now, oh man, I'm out of Q-tips. Alright, I have to go get more Q-tips. 1 second. Alright, I'm back. No, I have plenty of Q-tips, they're just not in the office. So I switched to 91% isopropyl alcohol for this reason. I'm constantly cutting myself or poking myself with tweezers and stuff. 99% isopropyl alcohol will not kill bacteria. What it actually does is basically freezes them to where any kind of antibiotic or, you know, antiseptic can't kill them. So 99% isopropyl alcohol, let's say you get a cut or something and bacteria gets in it, the 99% isn't going to kill it off, and it's also going to prevent anything else from killing it, because it forms like a it basically puts, how do you say this? It basically fries the membrane of the bacteria so nothing else can penetrate it. When 91%, a little bit of water acts like a catalyst so the alcohol can get inside the bacteria. So 91% is pretty close, and if you get cut or anything, you're not risking an infection. You'd think 99% would work better at killing stuff, but no. Actually, 70 would probably be the best because the water acts as like a catalyst and it can bring the isopropyl into the cell of the bacteria, and the other stuff will not do that. Or maybe I'm just paranoid, but that's what I heard. Alright, so let's have a look at these solder joints. Not too bad at all. Now we got to do these right here. These are pretty obviously simple. Always makes it easier when you pre-file the HDMI port. I never had an issue without filing it. Look at this. No need to file this. If we need to raise our temperature. These don't need to be perfect. These are just the posts. These just give the port a little stability and protect. Pins. I don't understand your comment, Goose Tech. It doesn't really make much sense. One thing you don't want to get solder balls under this shield right here unless you want to be replacing an encoder, which is a bad day. So just watch. No. I don't file the pins, no. I still have no idea what you mean by that comment. But it's also 9:30 at night, so probably my brain is fried. That's good enough. I don't file or pre-tin them. I take them from the reel and I drop them. I could care less how these look. They look horrible from the factory and they could look horrible out of my shop. I don't care. I like to clean my flux up, even though it's a no clean flux. It just looks more professional. Alright, now we may have a problem. No, we're good, because the thermal pad's stuck on the other side. We're going to clean the heatsink. This other one may not be an HDMI port. I've never had a problem with not filing the pins. I've never filed the pins. There's no need. I think on the first one I didn't know what I was doing. I did because I was looking online how to change the port. You know, what did I get myself into? You know, I'm used to fixing MacBook boards, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's just a port, just an LVDS connector. And then when I go to solder the or wick the solder out of the pads, I'm like, oh great, I'm in trouble. I don't know what I'm doing. So then I had an idea, go get low melt, and that's what I stuck with. Just that feeling when you accept a job and, you know, yeah, I'm sure I could do that, that's easy. And then it's, oh great, I'm in trouble, I don't know what I'm doing. Never be afraid to admit you don't know how to do something. Of course, if you really don't know what you're doing, you screw it up, that's a problem. But if you've never done something and you have to learn how to do it, that's fine. Let's see, what does my phone want? So we're going to get some thermal paste. For this, I'm going to use a different kind of thermal paste. I recommend is GC Extreme. You can get that from techworksrepair.com. It's an excellent paste. I might have enough GC Extreme left in this tube. Oh. Alright, let me get a new tube of GC Extreme. I just bought 2 tubes and I have no idea where they're going. Me, I'm constantly losing stuff. Yeah, I have no clue where to put that thermal paste. 2 brand new tubes. I just got it in the mail. Oh, here's one. So, I actually ran out, so I bought some other stuff, but this is the paste I recommend. You get this from techworksrepair.com. Right here, this stuff is good stuff. Right there. Funny thing, I ordered it, right? And thinking I need to go buy a tube because I buy a tube or something else because I need thermal paste, and of course it shows up that day that I go to get something else. But my second favorite paste is Thermaltake TG Extreme. That works just fine too. Whichever one you can get works. But if you can get if you can get GC Extreme over anything else, get it. It's far better than Arctic Silver. It's non-conductive. It just works great. Alright, so we need that metal cover. Sure, thermal pads are all there. Yes, they are. Always make sure to check your thermal pads because you would not want to leave them off. It's probably not going to matter too much, but still. Arctic silver is garbage, correct. It's too thin and just... But this stuff that I'm recommending keeps MacBook GPUs at 70 Celsius. I get the TG7 from Best Buy if I'm out of the other stuff. Still, I don't want to support Best Buy or Apple. Anyone affiliated with Apple. What Apple's doing with the screen, I mean, Arctic Silver, it's not terrible. I mean, if that's all you have, use it with confidence. It's not going to cause an overheating issue or anything. There's just better stuff out there. Yeah, with what Apple did to Jessa, confiscating the screens at customs and everything, I didn't have any support or respect for Apple to begin with, but I have a whole lot less now. I had really none to begin with, and I definitely don't have any now. Because every MacBook I fix is another one that they don't get to tell the person that they need to get a new one. Every MacBook board I fix is one that if they brought it to Apple, they would say that this is junk, you need to get a new MacBook. Every one I fix is keeping one out of the landfill, and it's keeping Apple from being able to sell someone on a overpriced repair service. Okay, I get devices in here that get quoted for logic board repair. They don't need logic board repair. They have a trackpad cable issue. Not even that. I had one that an Apple store quoted $925 for a new logic board repair. They said it had liquid damage. Then they brought it to an Apple authorized service provider. They said it had liquid damage and even showed the customer a burnt piece. Guess what? I pulled that board out. None of the liquid damage indicators are tripped, and there's no damage to that board whatsoever. Now, usually when a customer tells me that no, I didn't spill anything on, I'm thinking, yeah, sure you didn't, of course you did. And this time there was nothing on there. 2 Apple authorized places, one an Apple store, one a Apple authorized service provider, quoted $925 for a new logic board. I pulled the board out expecting to see something. The original issue was no trackpad or keyboard. I reseat the trackpad connector and it works just fine. Okay, the Genius Bar, they don't diagnose anything. They don't do anything. They don't diagnose it. They don't follow basic troubleshooting steps, okay? Reseating cables, no trackpad, okay, reseat the cable. Maybe they dropped it, maybe it got loose. No, Apple decides, okay, we can't run our test, that's a bad logic board. They don't diagnose, they don't know how to diagnose. And anybody considering getting a MacBook fixed at an Apple store, I seriously urge you to find an independent repair location instead. Because it's simple as that. They will tell you, you need to buy a new device. This is unfixable, when it is not. Okay, a 17-cent resistor burns out on your board. Guess what? Apple's going to say you need a new one. What happened to repair? What happened to people fixing electronics? What happened to, back many years ago when, repair was a thing, when there was competent people that that fix this. Well, we're bringing it back. There will be another time where, you know, consumer is allowed, or well, no, they're already allowed to do that, but where, you know, true repair will be a thing again, where, you know, that the manufacturer isn't going to lie to you and tell you that this is impossible to fix or something like that. That's coming back. That's a promise. Now let's say, like in the 70s or 80s, you know, you have a radio or whatever. I'm sure you could find a shop that can solder, and, you know, that the manufacturer is going to be able to provide repair information like schematics and stuff freely, and that the manufacturer isn't going to try and fight the people trying to fix it. Well, guess what's going on? Apple is fighting repair shops. They don't want their products to be replaced. Now, as a consumer, think about something. Why would Apple not want you to get their product fixed? You know, if there's competent repair stores, why doesn't Apple want you to get your device fixed? Because they don't want you to fix it. They want to sell you a new one. You know, let's say you have very competent repair shops. Apple's going to tell you can go get it fixed there. Let's say, you know, 20, 30 years ago, manufacturer of a product is probably going to tell you, you know, you could probably find a repair shop that can fix this. And they're not going to go after that repair shop for trying to fix it. What does Apple do? They want to make you think that nobody can fix it but them. And they want to go after those that do fix their products. And it's not going to be like that for much longer. The right to repair movement's gaining ground, and it will pass. A good feeling about it this time. If it doesn't pass, we will keep fighting. Simple as that. Before I really wasn't fighting for it. I was just saying, yeah, the right to repair, but well, now I'm going to fight for it. I wasn't really motivated to fight for it before, now I am. Now I'm making it a point to alright, what's wrong with this thing? Schematics used to come with all products you purchased as a consumer. Exactly, and they still should. There is no reason why someone shouldn't be able to get a schematic from Apple. Okay, what do you think you're going to do? What do you think we're going to do? Is manufacture a board? No. You can't manufacture a board with a schematic alone. We don't know where all the layers go in the board. It's just a diagram. That's it. They say, well, trade secrets. What trade secrets? There's nothing different in Apple computers than HP or Dell or anything. Nothing different at all. There's no secrets. It's all the same stuff. Apple wants to make you think that there's secrets in their device. There's not. I don't think that they should drain the water for that, but that's one thing that if it's going to create jobs, and that, you know, that's a good thing for the economy. But I dream of the day when you purchase a MacBook, you can go to apple.com and download a schematic for the product that you purchased if it ever dies. It shouldn't be, you know, hide repair information, make it last a year or so, you know, you can buy a new one. Things should be built to last again. You know, you look at even cars, for example. You know, my 2003 F-150 has almost 200,000 miles on it. 199,000, close enough. And you look at cars now, it's like they're falling apart. They're not built to last. Same with computers. You know, nothing is built to last anymore. Why? Nothing is built to last or to be repaired anymore. It's built to be replaced, and that needs to change. You buy a $1,000 computer from Apple, it should be able to last. It shouldn't be a 1-year thing that it dies. Now, why is it that Apple is confiscating screens while ICE is confiscating screens under the direction of Apple Incorporated? Why is that? Why is Apple doing that? Because they don't want you to be able to fix your phone. They want you to buy a new phone. That's it. Simple as that. They don't want you to fix it. It's replaced. Why would they withhold parts if they're talking about, well, we want quality parts and phones or some nonsense like that? No, you don't. You just don't want the consumer to be able to fix their own device. You want them to be able to replace it and be done with it. Apple doesn't care about the consumer. Same thing with the other companies too, you know, like Dell or any of them. They don't release schematics, they still say it's confidential. Why is a schematic confidential? If someone can give me a good explanation of why a schematic is confidential, I'd like to hear it. As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing confidential in a schematic. You cannot tell, you cannot reverse engineer a board from just that. There's a ton more to that. There's layout, there's routing, there's 10 different layers the board has that the schematic doesn't show. There is no reason that a schematic should be hidden or, you know, confidential. It's dumb. Alright, now I have a lot of extra parts. Oh wait, no I don't. Alright, do I want to fix another PS4 right now? Probably not. Do I want to fix a MacBook? Probably. Because I like fixing MacBooks. And again, if I fix a MacBook, that's another one that Apple doesn't get to tell somebody that they need to buy a new one. If I can fix this MacBook from 2011, no trackpad or keyboard, just maybe. What am I saying? I lost my train of thought. customer didn't include this thing. I'll take anything any day over a MacBook. I don't support Apple nor their products. It's like when a customer comes to me and says, oh, what MacBook do you recommend? It's like, really, I don't recommend any MacBook. I do not recommend you buy any MacBook. Yes, why? Well, why don't you recommend one? You know, you work on them. Why don't you recommend one? Well, exactly. I work on them. I will not recommend them. It's not only for their poor design, it's for Apple's business practices too. You know, if Apple had good support and they were, you know, working with the repair community, let's say they had poor designs, but they were, you know, working with the consumer, they were working with the repair shops, you know, that would be different. If Apple was, you know, were willing to work with the repair shops, you know, about their bad designs and, you know, wasn't suing repair shops and stuff like that, maybe they would get a recommendation. Yeah, exactly. If I open a store and say, or if I do PC repair, right, and or PC motherboard repair, or Lenovo ThinkPad motherboard repair, guess what? I'm not going to get any work because they don't fail. But when I say MacBook motherboard repair, why are there so many that fail? Why are there so many in here? You know? Yeah, same with me. Very rarely do I have to fix PCs. I mean, yeah, I get the occasional Dell with a liquid spill or Dell that doesn't turn on or beeps or something like that. But, hi, Cormac. Just missed my heated Apple rant. Alright, this is one. I'll test it tomorrow. There's not much that can go wrong in that repair. And that one was just under an hour, which isn't bad. Let's fix this one. Alright. Give me a couple minutes here. Unpack this and then enter this in the repair shopper. Alright, let's just fix this thing. Alright, we'll forget the info later, but this is a no trackpad and no keyboard A1466. Let's confirm it. I always like to confirm it because half the time they actually work. It's weird. Alright, so pulling some error 4. Dig into this thing. So slot 1. Put the screws in slot 1. I need a pen load, a P5. Where's my P5? Probably misplaced. It's going to be the one screwdriver or the one bit I need, and it's going to be misplaced. That's how it works every single time. This one. Yes. Yep. iPhone 7 is one of the most worst design iPhones. Taking AdSense, YouTube taking AdSense. I don't know because I don't monetize my videos. My goal is not to make money off this channel. It's not monetized. I don't think I ever will monetize it. So I can't really have my thoughts on that because it's not part of it. I mean, I only have 500 subscribers, so. Alright, so here's our problem. It's just giving me a X on the OS, so what we're going to do is we're going to take out this SSD and we're going to boot off my drive, and we're going to confirm that this actually has an issue, because more often than not, sometimes they don't have issues. Or the shipping will bounce whatever's broken back into place and they work. Alright, so what we're going to do is pull this SSD out. These are some of the lousiest SSDs ever to go into anything. These Toshiba, they fail all the time. It's terrible. Helps pay for equipment for streaming. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. YouTube isn't my form of income by any means. Fixing broken things is. In. Hopefully it'll go up, boot off my SSD, off my hard drive, not SSD. I am not buying SSD for something that gets thrown around. We have an Apple logo. We're going to confirm that we have no. Hopefully it's not a data line burned to the CPU or something. That wouldn't be fun. And I really want to fix this. So hopefully my hard drive didn't just die, but we're booting. Hard drive fell. This Toshiba drive that I have, it's a HDD the Toshiba HDDs actually aren't too bad at all. This thing falls while it's reading data. It's beat up, and it always works. So I have to give Toshiba props on their hard drives. Booting incredibly slow, so maybe. How is my ultrasonic cleaner? It still works perfectly fine. Video output low. How's it going? Is stream slowing down? What's going on? Alright, this thing is too slow. Let's try it one more time. I don't recommend the Ultrasonic anymore. I recommend the Crest. I've heard people getting issues, so. Alright, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to try to make that thing boot. Oh, this is interesting. So there's a piece of black tape over the Apple logo on this battery. I do not recommend the Ultrasonic. So don't buy it. So I can't get this thing to boot into my drive, so we're just gonna go through and let's see if we see anything blatantly obvious for trackpad or keyboard function, and we'll go from there, and then I'll figure this out later. Let's try and identify a fault. And yeah, a lot of people were telling me their heaters were dying on the Ultrasonic, so I've had 2 people say that, so that's raising my red flags, and given the fact that 2 people are saying that, I cannot recommend it anymore. Two minutes to come to temp. That's a pretty powerful heater. Say that for sure. Careful about these Wi-Fi things. These things always break, so. How's the plant doing over there? Are you referring to me? What plant? I have no idea. Why the board's not coming out. See, mine takes about an hour to maybe an hour and a half to get to full temp, the Ultrasonic, so that's not a problem. I don't have to use an immersion heater. Alright. Oh, the plant. Oh yeah, I'm giving it water. It seems to be doing good. Sometimes I forget about it. I was thinking like a factory or something. I was like, what are you talking about? Alright, where's my microscope view? So the customer complained on this was no trackpad or keyboard. They replaced the trackpad and trackpad cable and still does not turn on. So we're going to look for clues on this motherboard and see if we could figure out the problem. Remember, we want to use our eyes before our brain. So here's our trackpad connector. Looks just fine. Then around here looks just fine. And around here. On these is probably going to be the PCH. Green stuff right there. That's not corrosion, that's just a crumb. What's this? This looks like... No, that's just Flux in the factory. Probably something in the factory they had to rework, which happens. This is just dust. That's borderline, maybe a little corrosion. Green. No, that's just the coloration. Doesn't indicate a problem. Alright, so 6259 looks fine there. Yeah, this board looks beautiful. I don't see any liquid damage on it. Okay, so now we have to use our brain, unfortunately. Let's get a decent board. Let's start checking. Let's go over to the schematic and let's have a look at what we need for the trackpad keyboard. So, video output low. To the people in chat, how's it doing? This is an 820-3209. Alright, so hopefully this will be an easy one because I'm tired and I want to go to sleep now. Yeah, hopefully. TP3v3 trackpad.con. This is going to show up right over here on this final pad right here. We're going to get our meter. Let's plug this in. Wait for some fan spin. Got some fan spin. Meter on voltage mode. We have 3.3 volts there. SMC T-pad. Reset L, which is on this other side. Pin 14. And that's 3.42 volts. to look at the schematic now. So, the schematic for this board. My throat's starting to get dry. Bye-bye frame rate. So here's trackpad and keyboard. Keep in mind all of these use USB as the trackpad and keyboard interface. Come on, where is it? SSD connector. Left-IO connector, SMC, search, trackpad. The fans weren't racing, so I know it has to have some communication to the SMC with the trackpad. Okay, so trackpad right here. No, there's more. Go back. Alright, so J5700. Yeah, I'm getting tired. I don't think I want to go any further in this. Alright, so trackpad flex. First thing to check is what they call IPD. That's a new one. So if we come over here, we see we have a chip. It does something. It has an input PP3, V3, S4, T-pad. V is the VCC pin. This is the supply voltage to this chip. We see that it has two bidirectional data lines right here. These are going to be going to the Intel PCH, right? And we have this thing, PM Sleep S4L. SCL, I'm not sure what that means. It's probably an enable signal. We know we have PM Sleep S4L. If this is missing, of course, I can screw up this whole circuit, but we know we have this as we're turning on. So my guess is either something's going to be screwed up before this chip, or this chip will be screwed up. Maybe this filter will be blown, so we're going to go through, we're going to check that now. So first thing we're going to check is L5720. We're going to measure that. That should be a 120 ohm. So L5720. Search L5720. Filters most commonly just blow. So why they blow, I have no idea. They just do sometimes. Most commonly a failure, a random failure like this, is probably going to be the filter, because the chip usually has to have something to make it fail. And where is that? There's this filter, and it looks great, of course. Here's another thing. Filters, sometimes you'll read continuity off of it, but you'll notice on one side the voltage drop is going to be so high. So it has continuity. The chip looks just fine to me. That chip probably isn't going to randomly fail. But it might. So what we're going to do now is check some voltages. So let's check some voltages in 1 second here. this resistor is bad, we'd get some problems. So our fan is spinning. We do have voltage there. Should we get voltage up here? Yep, we do. Over here we do. So yeah, so it's either going to be probably, so if we look, go back to the schematic. Let's go to OBS so you guys can see this. So if we look on the schematic, we have USB, T-pad, RP, and RN. This is going to be coming from the CPU, or the PCH, whatever you want to call it. And then these two are going to be coming out. So let's compare voltages from going in and out of this chip. So pin 6 and 7 and 1 and 2. So pin 6 and 7 are going to be on these two resistors right here, right? We have nothing. 0.00 coming out of pin 6 and 7. Now 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Alright, so pin 1 and 2. Let's see what we have. We have great. We have nothing coming out of that at all. So it tells me that we probably don't have communication with the PCH. So another thing we're going to check is if there's a short. So let's check for a short. No short whatsoever. There's no reading in diode mode, so that makes me think that the line for the PCH is blown out in the chip. Let's see. Okay, hang on. Going back in chat, a lot happened. So, according to Louis Deskell's MacBook, I don't know. I don't think so. I rarely see that on boards. Is that because saltwater area you're around? This board came from Utah, and I'm very far from the beach. Contrary to popular belief, I get very little work from California. Do you have a donor board I can buy? A 2850? No. The 2850s I have no CPU or GPU, but check C9560 first. Buy a donor off eBay. That's where I get all of them. Alright, so with that being missing, let's go a little bit further back in the data line because we don't want to jump to conclusions here. So R2615 and R2622. So R2615. Of course. Not a problem. Wait a second, that's gotta be no stuff. That's no stuff pad. R2621, where's that? So yeah, it's not going to be a problem. Looks like this goes right to the PCH, I think. Let's do another search just to make sure we're not missing like a hub chip or something. Yeah, alright, so here's what our battle plan is. We're going to replace U5700 and we're going to hope for the best. So U5700 is right here. I'm hoping I could find a compatible donor without having to pull out a schematic. So it says here's a donor board, and it's way different. Okay, so look up, this is a 203024. Yeah, so an this is an 8203208. So let's open an 8203208. Take off my screen capture here for a second. $03208 right here. Yep. It's the same thing. So U5700 which is going to be over here. It's going to be this guy right here. So pins 1 and 2 got to be at the bottom like that. So it kind of helps just to position your donor board chip in the same position as the other chip. So we have this is the position of the board on my bench. We have pins 1 and 2 right here. Our other board right here. Wait. Alright. So this is our donor board. This is the position of the board of my bench. I have pins 1 and 2 right here. We go over to the other board. Pins 1 and 2 right here, so it makes it easier when we just drop it into place. The pads look fine. Almost to the mark of 500 subscribers. With how old my channel is, that's kind of bad and not something to be congratulated on. Tweezers. The pads look, I mean, they just look burned, normal. Try U5700. If it's not U5700, it's probably the PCH, but I'll go back tomorrow and retrace it just to be sure. But yeah, if it's not U5700, but yeah, back to the dust thing. I don't really think dust could short out a board. I don't know. It depends on the dust. Like dust, usually I wouldn't think that, but sand from the beach, yes, it has iron in it, and I've seen it. But dust, It's really just you, for subscribers, you have to find what, you know. You have to find where your sweet spot is, you know. It's like with repair, Lewis has done it, Jess has done it, and it's oversaturated. People aren't looking for new content. You know what I mean? And my channel is just, you know, compared to theirs is. Alright, I don't care about the Flux right now. We'll ultrasonic this board later on. It's time to get out of here because I'm tired. It's cold and hot motherboard. And I'm tired. Just saw something out of the corner of my eye. That's nothing. One thing that a lot of people probably don't do, make sure your Wi-Fi cables and just random cables in your testing aren't under the board, because you will short it out. Like yesterday I started a retina, luckily it didn't do anything. The webcam connector that has a nice big metal ground shield is actually under the motherboard. It didn't do anything though, luckily. We don't need Wi-Fi. I don't care about Wi-Fi. I care about screen. I care about... Wait, the screen comes out. I care about trackpad. Let's get this trackpad cable in there. Snip it up in there. Make sure it's in there square, nice and square. In addition, if this does work, I'm going to take the battery out, tighten the trackpad set screw, because it's not not all the way tight, and I just want to make it a little tighter. Get an I/O cable. Battery. Hard drive right here. Let's put this somewhere where it's not going to fall or short, which is probably nowhere in this office because everything is either electrically conductive or it's going to be in a place where it's going to fall. Power it on. Battery's probably dead for years. Have a fan spin. We'll hold down the option key. Alright, just let it boot up. Come on, no Apple logo, nothing. My drive die. Finally an Apple logo. Mechanical drives boot so slow. Booting, it's just moving slowly. I don't know how people use mechanical drives, honestly. Not all of them are this slow, though. Oh, there goes. And still no trackpad. No trackpad or keyboard still. Alright. Yeah. knowing these models, it's probably the PCH. Saying there isn't a keyboard connected, so there's no keyboard discovered. We have keyboard backlight, so that makes me think almost, maybe, just maybe. This is the last thing I'm checking, then I'm done for the night. Oh, that screw stripped out. Can I get that with larger Torx? This one. So it's not seeing the keyboard or the trackpad. That leads me to think maybe that U4700 or 5700 was our issue, and maybe something's just funny over here. Yeah, nothing unusual there. Alright, well this one, probably the PCH. We went through the troubleshooting steps, traced it back, found that USB communication lines to the trackpad are missing, so very well could be the PCH. It's 10:30, I'm exhausted, so thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.